Good evening. Dr. Clemens could not be with us tonight, so she has sent me in her place to do the welcome. I am Gina McAllister. I'm the Dean of the School of Education, and it's our privilege to welcome you to Chipola College tonight for this special occasion. We are super excited for our graduates, but I know not as excited as you are. So we're going to move forward with some really exciting things. The pinning ceremony is always a special occasion. It's a little bit different than graduation because it's a little bit more personal, and we get to share some of our highlights with you that you wouldn't get to see if we were actually at the graduation ceremony. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to the rest of our crew here to get started. And again, thank you for coming and congratulations on your accomplishments.
Good evening. I'm Casey Dogle. I hope you've only heard positive things about me. One of the things that we like to do is we like to give like a picture PowerPoint presentation of the graduates that are here this evening. So we will start that. one thing we like to do is we like to ask a couple graduates to come and give a graduate address. At this time, we'd like to ask Allison Brown to come and speak to her peers. Allison is an English graduate. And after that, we'll have Aaron Wright come and speak.
I was one of the teachers that never really knew I was going to be a teacher. It wasn't in my game plan. I never knew I was going to do it. When I started Chipola, I was actually a forensic pathologist major. For the people who knew me, this career made pretty good sense, but what didn't make sense was when I jumped to English education. I didn't make the jump to English education because I had a bold change of heart. I made it for practicality. I knew I would be guaranteed a job, and I knew I'd have a job with state benefits. That's a pretty good deal for around here. When I first went into my field study, what's it called? Field experience, I'm sorry. I was in a group of 7th graders. I went in every day and I hid in the wall. I wanted to blend in with the wallpaper. I didn't make eye contact with them because those kids can smell fear. And I was very scared, so I did not make eye contact with them. But it wasn't very long before Dr. Rentz pulled me from my wall of security and made me get up in front of the class and teach a lesson. I remember this observation very well, even though I spent many, many nights hoping Dr. Rentz did not. I got up there and I started this sage on the stage, which I'm pretty sure all of us has heard at this point. The problem was I wasn't a very good sage. I was just on the stage. It was pretty rough. I remember going to Dr. Rentz and I had my head down a little low, lump in my throat. I was scared and I didn't say anything. Because honestly, what do you say after something like that? She looked at me and she smiled. She said, "That was rough, but we can work on it." Me being the person I am, I only heard that was rough part. I went home that night and I fully intended on getting yet another change of major form. I went back in the next day. I tried to blend back in with the wallpaper, but the kids wouldn't let me this time. I had a dozen kids come up to me and asking me questions. "Miss Brown, how did you do? Did you fail because of us? We think you did pretty good." They wouldn't let me escape them. So we introduced this thing called talk time. For 5 minutes at the end of class, every Friday, the kids could come to me and just ask me what they wanted to ask me. This 5 minutes once a week is what inspired me to stay in the education program. My observation process has come full circle, and I recently finished my internship back in another 7th grade classroom. Much like my first group of kids, these kids were very inquisitive. One question that seemed to come up over and over again was, "Are you sure you want to do this, Miss Brown? Why do you want to do this, Miss Brown?" You had to have the attitude in there because they got attitudes. For the first time in my career, I finally had an answer to this question. Do you guys remember when you were kids and people asked you what you want to be when you grow up? If you were like me, you had a different answer every single time this was asked. This is what I love about teaching. I get to be every single thing I ever answered. I get to be a nurse when kids are scared of putting in eye drops and all the Band-Aids I've ever put on. I get to be a comedian when the class is looking at me like I'm a dead fish up there. I get to be a referee when little Johnny decides he wants little Bobby's girlfriend this week. I get to be a counselor when kids finally decide to open up and ask for help. I get to be a zookeeper. This one's self-explanatory. I get to be a guardian when I was with 25 terrified kids during an active lockdown. All these things and all this craziness is what's kept me in teaching. I enjoy never knowing what's going to happen when I walk in the door and being a different person every single day. However, now that I've gained my passion, I also know it's good to be realistic. There's going to be times where it's not as funny. There's going to be times where I lose passion again. But I think it's great that we can put on a different hat when we lose passion. We can be passionate just about being kind that day, because sometimes that's what our kids need the absolute most. Every single educator in here is here for a different reason. We have different backgrounds, we have different reasons why we started education. Our one common denominator is that we all have our kids, and we all care about our students. As cliche as it sounds, I'm so thankful to be something as part that's bigger than myself. I think, and I'm so glad to see all the achievements that this graduating class is going to make, and I'm glad to be a part of that. Thank you.
Okay, so first off, I just have to say that I did not memorize mine as well as Allison, so forgive me if I use my notes. But first, I just want to start off by welcoming the educational staff, family, and friends. To the graduates, we did it. We barely made it, but we are here, and to that I say, thank God. At the start of this journey, I never realized the impact it would have on myself and the ones I am surrounded by. These past 2 years have flown by, to say the least. We have laughed, ate, cried, ate, talked a little too much, ate, took up tennis for about 2 weeks, ate, and worked hard. Wait, did I mention we've ate? We've been stressed because a task was due more than we can count, but we've always made the conscious decision that taking a break to eat is better than a mental breakdown. Shout out to Sonic. But hey, educators love to eat, right? Well, that's what Miss Dogle made us believe. There is never a wrong time to put the work mode on pause and have lunch. Maybe that's not always the case, but somehow, in our eyes, it was always the right time. Before our lunch dates, we had to take the time to get to know each other. But once we did, I knew our professors secretly rolled their eyes when they saw us, or heard us, actually. Speaking of professors, I know you're sitting there thinking, just 2 more days. But really, we know you will miss our daily shenanigans. From constantly asking about field trips to bargaining with food, you will never have a group more interesting than us. You've probably heard us say, I'm working on a task, or I have a task due tomorrow and I haven't even started. Well, if you haven't heard one of us say that, then praise you and never say or use that word again. I mean, ever. A task was an assignment with high stakes. Basically, you aced it or you didn't. There was no in between. It required staying up all night, stressing until your hair turned gray, and buying drinks that were full of energy. Maybe all of those could have been avoided, but if you waited until the night before it was due, it meant you were older, therefore wiser. So we knew what we were doing all along. Gotcha. Because of that, I want to thank Dr. McAllister for not kicking us out of the program. Thank you to all professors for not telling us what you were really thinking, even when it was written all over your face. Although you gave us plenty of tasks, little did you know that you've been partaking in your own tasks these past few years. Your task was dealing with us, and might I say, you have demonstrated. To the ones who have taught us, thank you for instilling a goal to be the best teachers we can be. Our families have also provided guidance and support too. The only difference is they were able to tell us the cold, hard, sometimes brutal truth, even when we didn't want to hear it. Mom, thank you for being there for me 25/8. You have been sitting next to me on this roller coaster ride, and you don't even like roller coasters, which lets me know that you would do anything for me. Even when I ask for your opinion and I end up doing the complete opposite, you still make it known and make me admit that you were right when it doesn't turn out my way. I will always be thankful for our relationship. We are best friends, and I will forever cherish the words, make good choices. Dad, they say the first child always looks like their father. Well, I'm the only one, so you're welcome. Although I look just like you, I'm not sure why you had to give me the same hard head. Even though you made me stubborn, I ultimately want to thank you for your sacrifices to serving our country. Without you and your bravery, I wouldn't be able to graduate from college debt-free. I will forever be grateful for that and everything you do for me. Of course, I can't forget my Nana on FaceTime. I wish you could be here, but we both know that God works in mysterious ways and everything happens for a reason. You being on FaceTime works just fine because your love is always with me. Thank you for allowing me to be your favorite human being and never denying that fact either, just because some are jealous. For example, I know Tia's sitting over there saying whatever in her mind, LOL. You have always provided me with advice and love. Just know I will always be your baby, and you're my favorite too. To all my family members and extended family, thank you for being with me throughout my life and making the impact you did. Your support is priceless. Among this group are people I will forever consider my friends. I have an energetic, outgoing person to call if I ever feel the need to go roller skating with at 6 a.m. Thank you, Katie. I have a friend that will never allow me to walk around smelling bad because she's a pro at making soap. Go, Hannah. I have a friend that will never let me forget that Disney is a real place, Princess Elaine. I have a friend that can save my life because sometimes you're an RN and an educator. You're amazing, Chandler. I have a friend that I will create March Madness brackets with because we know we're balling, Coach Kate. And I have a friend that can grow new skin like a lizard, and we will never let you live that down, Savannah. Even though we have different personalities, somehow we've created a bond that will never be forgotten. And to my heifers, I say thank you. Thank you for answering questions I didn't know, for never holding back the truth, and for never saying no when I ask about lunch. I could not have done it without y'all. Although I've met some awesome people, I never thought I would meet someone as incredible as I did. They say true friends are hard to come by. This past year, I have created a bond with a selfless, do anything they can to help, and would literally give the shirt off their back kind of person. This girl has been there for me during times someone would be quick to walk away. We have laughed, cried, argued, and loved each other for who we truly are. Molly, you have never held back the truth and have always been there to support, encourage, guide, and empower me to be the best person I can be. You have loved me when I didn't even love myself, and you have taught me so much about what being a genuine person is. You've had my back through things I didn't even know were possible. I cannot thank you enough for being by my side and walking hand in hand with me during this wonderful time in our lives. Even though you were the worst or best procrastinator in the world, you still managed to have a smile on your face and get things done. I am beyond grateful to have found a true lifelong best friend to continue making memories with. You're my DB, and I'm truly blessed to know you. The last thank you goes to some who are not here tonight. These past 4 months, we have had the opportunity to intern in classrooms with students that are incredible, unique, diverse, and are all filled with passion that can light up the world. Our students have taught us so much about life and ourselves without even knowing it. We were placed to shape their life, but somehow they are the ones shaping ours. Without these kids, we wouldn't have a career or even a reason to get up and go to work. These children are the future, and they don't even realize we are the ones lucky enough to be a part of their own journeys. As I look back on our time here, I am sad to be done, but ecstatic to see what the future holds. Education is forever changing, but the compassion, love, courage, support, guidance, dedication, trust, understanding, and willpower of an educator remains constant. These are just a few of the qualities and characteristics of the people we call teachers. Remember, a child doesn't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. Teachers are few and far between these days, but I have no doubt in my mind that these graduates are off to make a difference and change the world one child at a time. Here's to the class of 2019.
In the future, we might need to have an agreement that if you're going to make someone cry, that I need to see your stuff beforehand. They both did a tremendous job. Absolutely tremendous to both of you, Allison and Aaron. We would like to recognize outgoing FEC officers at this time. Savannah Messer, will you please come up? Savannah served as our public relations liaison. She kind of helped bridge that gap, and she was our picture historian throughout the year. Thank you, Savannah, very much. Chloe Bruner, please stand, is going to be taking the place. She has been elected to take Savannah's place. So, Aaron Wright has been our treasurer. And with her bank experience, that has come in very handy. She had wonderful fundraising ideas. Thank you, Aaron. And taking Aaron's place is going to be Allison Myers. Our secretary this year was Miss Hannah Barbie. Hannah's hyper organization was wonderful in communication. Luckily, she didn't need to be crafty at all in this position. We pick on her for that. We've got a crafty one coming up, though. And taking over for secretary is going to be Miss Joni Fox. Will Katie please come up? Katie King served as our vice president. We know that Katie can and will talk to anyone, which came in handy in bridging the the cross majors. She was able to kind of put all of that together, whether it was math, science, elementary, and just served as a wonderful vice president for our president. Thank you, Katie. Miss Jordan Newman, who could not be here this evening, is going to be taking on the vice president role. And Molly, will Molly come forward? Molly Niami served as our president. Molly is the craft brain. Molly had wonderful ideas. She did a lot of things that were new to the organization, very fresh with ideas and good in knowing how to implement those and get those happening. And Miss Madison Kincaid is going to be our current FEC president. I would also like to let you know that we have a couple new positions that we have started. We have 2 additional officers here. We have taken some of our majors and we have created ambassadors for those majors. And the role of those positions are to be the spokesperson, be the advocate, kind of be that communication direct line between the officer role and the people that might not be able to come to meetings. This is Brian Gay, and he is going to be our math science ambassador. And Paige Smith. Paige is going to be our elementary ambassador. Also, I would like to take the time currently to thank the current, the ones that were standing. They were the ones who decorated everything. They were the ones who put all of this together. The first role of the new incoming FEC officer group is to put on this banquet for the outgoing graduates. And just looking around and everything that was donated, I think they did an incredible job. And I would like to personally thank all of you guys for everything that you guys have done. There is a sponsor card that is on your table. Just at some point, just notice the names that are on that card. These are personal businesses. These are franchises. These are just personal people that felt it important to sponsor or to donate, whether it be time, money, food, gift certificates, to donate to this event. So please help us in patronizing those people. Thank you.
Well, this evening we have invited for our guest speaker one of our very first graduates. He was out of our first group of elementary education graduates. He is now the principal at Graceville High School. He is a renowned author and he wears many, many hats. So we're proud to call him our own. Please welcome Mr. Juwan Clark.
Good evening, everybody. Can everybody hear me? If I walk around a little bit, can everybody hear me in the back? Do I need a microphone? You good? We're good? Perfect. Because, you know, I like to talk, move, and if you tie my feet, you tie my hands. I don't think I can do a pretty good job. So I'm just talk tonight. Is that all right? Can we just? Okay, good deal. So tonight, one of the things that I want to talk about is the impact of a great teacher, and that's one of the things that I stress to my teachers at the school is what type of impact can you make when you're in the classrooms, when you're walking around the schools, when you're in your communities. And so I just want to really, really hit home tonight on the impact of a great teacher. All right, so the role of a teacher. The role of a teacher is to ultimately prepare students for the world in which they will encounter. I know with the way the state has said all of, we have high stakes testing, standardized testing, progress monitoring, testing, and all the whole 9 yards with more testing. And by the time we get done in May, the kids are like, I don't want to see another test at all, just like the word task. Students don't want to hear test when we get in school. And so one thing I want to just talk about tonight, it's not all about the testing. And yes, I'm a principal, I'm sitting here saying it is not all about the testing. Yes, my job depends on that, but that's not the sole purpose of why we do what we do. So that's just kind of what I want to hammer home. So shocking, right? So you call the superintendent and say, hey, you just had the principal say all about testing. I know you guys know you're funding this based on testing. It's all good. He approves this message. All right, so this is my question for you guys, the educational field. And this is for all of our graduates and anybody else who may be a teacher. Are there any other teachers that's in the room besides our graduating? Oh, awesome, awesome. So it's gonna be awesome then. All right, so why did you choose to go into the education field? What was the purpose? Somebody just throw some things out. Not everybody at once. Not everybody at once. To make a difference. Want to make a difference in the lives of children, right? Anybody going for the money? I know it's good jokes, right? I'm also a comedian part time, you know. Yeah, it's all about the money, get rich, and everything, right? So, why did I go into the education field? I'm just gonna make it a little personal. No, I just simply wanted to positively impact the lives of others. Because at the beginning, I wanted to be a surgeon, right? That's what I wanted to do. Because I wanted the 6 figures. It wasn't all about saving lives or anything. I just wanted the 6 figures. Well, then I started realizing how much schooling and education it took. Like, I don't want to be a surgeon anymore. I'll just be a barber. And that was my plan. I went from being a surgeon to being a barber. Well, I had an amazing principal at the time, my senior year. And I was a basketball player and everything. And came into the office, I was cutting hair on the side, you know, in the locker room, bring my clippers, and I was making a little pocket change, you know. Well, so he called me into his office. It was Chris Franklin and Lawrence Pender. I have to give them a shout out everywhere I go. And they told me, they said, Juwan, what do you want to do when you get out of school? I had like two weeks left until graduation. Well, I think I'm going to be a barber. And they just stopped and looked at me and said, okay, so how you plan on doing that? So I'm gonna give me a business degree. Like, so you get a business degree to open up a barbershop. I said, yeah, sounds right to me. A barbershop is a business, so I need to get a business degree to open up. They said, no. I said, you need to be a teacher. Nobody has ever told me to be a teacher. And I'm gonna jump more into that in a minute. All right, let's keep moving. Just have to give you guys that look. Just hang on the edge on that. All right, so for all of us, all of you guys, all the teachers, if you had to choose, now the principal has called you to their office and said, okay, I'm giving you the opportunity to pick whatever class you want to pick. Now your primary purpose is to go in and teach the curriculum. That's all I want you to do is teach the curriculum, make sure that the kids learn what you need them to learn. Which class would be the easiest to accomplish that mission? B, right? All right. So everybody's in agreement? B? You could be G. Thanks, girl. All right. So why?
Paying attention, answering questions.
They're paying attention. Hands are raised. Everybody's smiling. You can do it again. So what's some other reasons you would say B? Structure. There's some great structure, some great classroom management going on in there, right? All right. So we can make that. We'll go on past that real quick. So you guys got to understand it. So, but here's the question: which class really truly needs you? It's class A. All right, because it looks like maybe the teacher is locked in the closet over on this side. The kids are just having a good time. Principal doesn't know what's going on, and they're just having a field day, right? All right, this is good. But why? Why is it that those students are the ones that need us the most? All right, they're the ones that have something that's stopping them from truly reaching self-actualization. They're the ones that's having something that's stopping them from being able to learn and become all that they can become. They're the ones who have barriers that's prohibiting them from learning the skills and life processes that they will need to be successful. There's something going on within those students that's not allowing them to be able to sit, process, receive, and get the things that they need in order to be able to experience success, however success looks like for their future. So, in greater detail, there's a need that has to be met. Everybody can agree there, right? There's something going on that we as teachers have to figure out what's going on and meet it. This is why you're in education. This is why I decided to go into education after turning down that 6-figure surgeon opportunity that I had. I have another funny story I'll tell you guys about that in a minute. So to meet the needs of your students, so that way they can experience the SIS within their lives. That's what is basically going on. Everybody heard this guy, right? Well, Abraham Maslow, hierarchy of needs. We've heard it over and over and over, right? I'm not here to teach it. I just want to touch on some things so that way I can go where I need to go at. All right. So what does that look like in education? Because we hear about it in psychology class and everything, but what does that look like on a day-to-day basis? Whenever you step foot out of your car and you're pumped up, after spring break, you're ready to go in to those classes. Those kids are sitting down, ready to learn, right? So what does that look like? All right, you can click it. Real briefly, I know you guys you probably can't read the little letters, but I'm going to blow it up for you guys. So here we go. The description of the needs. We know the pyramid goes from the bottom to the top. So I'm going to start from the top to the bottom. You caught that? All right, I'm going to flip that bad boy. All right. So biological and physiological needs. Okay. So when your students when they're first coming in, we have to make sure they're fed. They have that love, that warmth. They feel like they're welcome. I've had students come in my classroom as a teacher. Coach Clark, do you have anything to eat? Anything to eat? I'm hungry, I didn't get any breakfast or whatever. I've always had little snacks. So I just throw them a snack, okay, eat this real quick so we can keep moving. Because if I'm teaching and they're hungry, all they're focused on is being hungry. So satisfy that need, bam, now you're ready to move to the next thing, right? You got it, okay? So now, safety needs. We have to make sure that they're safe, they feel protected. Because if I tell you right now, there's a big tornado coming this direction. But don't worry about it, I'm gonna keep on going and you guys just keep paying attention, right? Is anyone gonna pay attention to me? No. You'll say, that dude is crazy, right? So, same thing with our kids. If they do not feel safe while they're in the classroom, you can teach this fantastic lesson on sales. They're not paying any attention, they're not gonna get anything, and at the end of the lesson, you're gonna say, man, I blew that lesson out the water, and then you'll have all these hands raised. Now, what was that you want us to do again? I remember that slide, you'll spend 15 minutes talking about directions, then you end up pausing, a few minutes later, and you're gonna spend 2 more minutes. Yeah, it happens, true story. All right, so make sure they're safe, you can move to the love and belongingness. Students want to feel love. They want to know that they belong to a group. I can remember I had this little girl in my class, and oh man, it was so funny. So I'm sitting there, I'm getting ready to teach, and she just falls out, oh, Coach Clark. What is wrong with you? He left me, Coach Clark. He left me. 6th grade. True story. 6th grade. True story. He left me, Coach Clark. Who left me? My boyfriend. What you talking about, a boyfriend? Let's get. But Coach Clark, you don't understand, Coach Clark. We were dating for a long time. Well, how long is a long time? Coach Clark, we were dating for 2 months. 2 months? But her world is in shambles now. She's not gonna pay attention to anything I have to say at this moment in time because in her world, this is a huge issue. So, as a teacher, what do? You put on the other hat. I'm going to be a counselor for a second. Okay, guys, if you will, open your books to page such and such. Go ahead and start reading these first paragraphs. I'll be right there with you. Take it to the side. Say, okay, you got 2 minutes. What's going on? Okay, well, understand something. There's more efficiency. You're only in 6th grade. You need to focus on books right now. There's going to be more. Maybe that little pep talk. She's ready to go. You're right, Coach Clark. You're right. I'm only in 6th grade. That's right. So let's get back in. Let's get work. Sat down. She was good. All right, guys. Let's get back where we left off at. 2 minutes. Now she's ready. Okay. So don't be afraid to put on that counselor hat. Every now and then you have to do it. All right. But once we did that, she was ready to move on. Self-esteem. This is one of my favorite ones. I'm the only boy in a house full of women. All right. When I grew up in a house with 3 sisters, a mom and my dad. I spent a lot of time with my dad. Love my mom. But I've learned one thing. There's a lot of drama that goes on in the life of young ladies. I heard it from my sisters, and as an administrator, I deal with it all the time. But one of the most funniest things I've had happen, I had one of the little girls, she was in my class now. This is all my teaching experience, nothing from administration right now, just teaching. And she was back there, she had her hairbrush going. I'm trying to teach, and hair is flying everywhere, and she's trying to make sure she's looking good. So I said, okay, young lady, I said, You got 5 seconds. Go ahead, get it together, put it up. So just giving her those 5 seconds, that was enough time for her to feel like she got everything together to satisfy this. So now she feels good about herself. She's ready to go. Now I could have said, put it up. I don't have time for it. Well, in her mind, she's gonna be thinking, my hair is not, as kids say, my hair is not on fleek. That's what it tells her. No, this is on fleek. That's not on fleek. Her hair would not have been nice, pretty. So she wouldn't focus on anything that I have going on at that moment in time. So give her 5 seconds, bam, we're ready to roll, right? Star teacher right now, right? I'm sorry, I told myself anyway. Okay? So once we get there, now we're ready to deal with them cognitively. Now we're ready to start teaching them the things that we want them to know. Now there's some students that's not going to catch it as fast as others. So they're going to dwell right here, a little bit longer. I was one of those ones, if I couldn't catch things as fast as somebody else, I begin to think, what's wrong with me? And so once you get them past that point, now we're where we need to be at, self-actualization. They're realizing, hey, I can do this. I can be that. I can achieve this. I can achieve that. And ultimately, if we can get them to this point, they'll begin to operate from the transcendence need, in which they'll be able to help others achieve self-actualization as well. So in a nutshell, that's what Abraham Maslow looks like in education. Make sense? All right, good deal. So, is this relevant? And Dr. McCall told me I had 2 hours to talk, so we'll take an hour break. She said whenever I feel like just dropping the mic, then I'll get finished. And I'm normally a long-winded preacher at times, so but I won't be that long. We'll literally wrap it up here shortly. Okay, so how does all of this relate to education? What does this have to do with me being here today? Why should you guys care anything about the hierarchy of needs? Simply put, this is everything. Okay? Going through high school, I was one of those students that was in class A. All right, and I'm just kind of talk to you guys a little bit about my story, because that's one thing that I like to go around and I like to share with a lot of students, because a lot of people think, oh, you're a principal now, you had it all together. I didn't. I was far from having it all together. Now I grew up, my dad was a farmer, my mom, she worked at Russell's at night, and so I had a good country life. Well, then going through school, once you get around about that 6th, 7th grade, middle school, that's a hard time, because you're trying to figure out who you are, trying to figure out where do you fit in, and who's your friends. And I can remember I had the cool friends, the ones that all the guys that always got the girlfriends and all that kind of stuff. But I was the one that couldn't, how to say, every group of friends got the ugly person. Well, that was me. I was the one that nobody wanted. And so I can remember this one time there was this girl that I was like, man, she's so pretty. I want to talk to her. But I was shy. I was shy. I didn't like to talk. Put me in front of a class. Oh my gosh, I was just milk. Okay. But I told my best friend, he was smooth. He looked, he could talk to anybody. I said, hey man, hey, put me in, talk to her for me. Tell her I want to talk to her. He said, okay, I got you. I said, all right. So I'm sitting back on the wall, just waiting, and he's talking to her. He's going. And so he most probably come over. I was like, okay, he got it all worked out. So I get right behind her and she doesn't see me. She said, I don't want to talk to his ugly butt. And my heart just sunk. And, and I was just like my little 6th grade girl. Oh my gosh, like my world was crumbling. Like she said, I'm ugly. I'm like, what am I gonna do? So from that point, then I started wondering, well, what's wrong with me? Why I can't have a girlfriend? Keep in mind I wasn't supposed to have one anyway, because my parents didn't not until I was 16, so I was trying to undermine them. We'll work things out. So, couldn't even have a girlfriend. So I'm sitting there and I'm in class now, and that's what's on my mind. What's wrong with me? Well, as time went on, I just started figuring, well, you know what? Whatever I'm doing is not working. Maybe I need to do like all the other friends. Maybe I need to start acting out. Maybe I need to start doing, being that behavior person. So maybe I'll start attracting what they have. Because in my mind, that's all I want. So, I began to be a class clown. I was joking in class. Well, report cards came out. I got my first B ever. And when I seen it, my heart sunk. You know that sinking feeling where you know that something's really, really bad is about to happen. There's nothing you can do to prevent it. And I just started crying out in front of class and everything. My teacher, she came to me, she said, "Well, baby, it's gonna be all right. It's just the first 9 weeks." I said, "No, ma'am, you don't understand my daddy." And she said, "Well, baby, go to the bathroom and get cleaned up." So I went to the bathroom, cleaned my face up, and you know, all my siblings were all at the same school. I was in 6th grade. My sister, she's in 8th grade. And my cousin, I mean, everybody's all together. So everybody knows report card time. So everybody's running out of recess. What did you make? What did you make? And my sister came up to me. She said, "What did you make?" And I started crying again. She said, "What?" I showed it to her. She said, "Ooh, you gonna get it? You just wait." And I'm crying harder than I mean, the whole day. I cried through PE, recess. By the time I got home, you know, I really didn't have more tears. It was just. So Daddy gets home and everything, and he says, "Well, what did you make?" I showed him my report card. I couldn't even tell him. Just showed it to him. And all I said is, "Please have mercy." Please have mercy. He said, "Well," he said, "I'm having mercy this time." He said, "But now next time you better get it." So then, you know, I started trying to do a little bit better, but you know, had that grace and mercy. So I'm like, you know what? My mind's still on the other things. I started planning everything. Second report card comes in. Another D. Same thing again. Oh gosh, got home and said, "Daddy, please have mercy. I passed for the semester though. I got a D." Long story short, I ended up passing that whole semester in that one class with a D. And then that next year I started trying to do better. I really tried to do better, but I missed so many skills because of all the playing around, trying to be cool with all the guys. Well, long story short, my ninth grade year, I ended up getting put in the lower class because you know, I couldn't score like I needed to score on the FCAT at the time, which is what the FSA took the place of. And so I'm in the low group in the remediation class, and when I tell you that class was really the A class on steroids, I mean that class was, they would throw things at the teacher, and I say it's they because by this time I had reformed. I seen the light. So I was just stuck now. I was a victim of circumstance at this point because of my test scores. And so I'm sitting there and I'm trying to learn. I mean, they're throwing things at the teacher and I mean, just doing all kinds of things. We have, SROs had to come in and get some of the students out of there, and I'm like, goodness. Well, at the end of that year, I actually made all A's and B's. I had 1 C, but I still didn't pass the FCAT. But the teachers got together. Now keep in mind, with the way my test score is supposed to be, I should have stayed in all those classes that 10th grade year, but they got together and said, you know what, if we put him in the honors class, he'll soar. And in my mind, you gonna put me what? In the honors class, and I'm having trouble reading? Like, it doesn't add up. But they did. The only class I had that was with the lower bunch was my intensive reading class. And you know, that was the only time I got a chance to really, still spend time with my friends. So when we got together, oh man, we had fun in that class. Not the good fun, the other fun, but it wasn't the throwing things at the teacher type fun. You know, we just like to clown, joke around, make fun. Stephanie Long, this is her first year teaching this course, her second year being in our school. And I have to give her a shout out because I believe in giving honor where honor is due. She was the main teacher that helped turn everything around for me. And we were in her classroom and we didn't want to do her work because you put a whole bunch of struggling readers together and then you're gonna make us sit down and read from a book repetitively. Not happening. So she sat us down one day and said, you know what, guys? Let's sit down. Let's have circle time. Circle time? You want to sit down and talk about feelings? Nobody but guys and maybe 1 or 2 girls? Like, seriously? She's like, yeah, we'll have circle time. Let's sit down and talk about our feelings. So we all, we comply because we was all basketball team. We didn't want to get benched. So we sat down in our little circle. And she just asked us this one question. She said, what is it going to take for you guys to do my work? At the time, everybody talking about, eating and everything, that you give us Debbie cakes, we'll do your work. Plain and simple. Straight to the point. Give us Debbie cakes, we'll do your work. So I tell you what, if you guys work Monday through Thursday, on Friday, I'll bring you guys Debbie cakes. We said, all right, that's a deal. We'll do it. So we started working. I mean, we were on there at that point in time. When we were working, getting it going. She'll bring us our dairy cakes. I always wanted the zebra cakes. That was me. She'll bring me my zebra cake. Nobody touched my zebra cake. She forgot one time. She never ever forgot again. We made sure of that. But then that year, I ended up passing the FCAT. Barely passed it, but I passed it. And while I was doing that work, I began to realize I wasn't, what we would say, dumb. I wasn't as dumb as I thought. I just realized that I needed extra work. There were some things that I needed to learn differently than what I was learning. Well, then from that point, I began to have more confidence in myself. Got out of the intensive reading class, had straight honors classes, and I actually ended up graduating with a 3.75, which made me an honor graduate. I was so glad. And then from there, I ended up coming to Chipola. I ended up getting my bachelor's. I graduated in the first ever education class at Chipola College. You know, when I say that, the first ever, everybody always think, oh man, was it 1980 something? It was 2010. 2010. Then I went on, I got my master's in educational leadership from the University of West Florida, got my specialist from Capella University, and now I'm a year away from getting my PhD from Capella University as well. But I'm saying all that to say this. What if I had had a teacher that did not care about me? That her sole purpose was, you know what, I'm just gonna get my check. All of this, I've never thought about, being a teacher. I had people to instill that into me. Hey, look, why don't you try this? How about you do that? How about you go on for your PhD, your master's? That came from that table right there. In my house, the highest level of degree was is a liberty vocational school, and so it had other people poured into me saying, "Hey, look, you can do this. You know, there's more to you." But that comes from a teacher. That came from teachers, and when I say teacher, not just teachers from a institution, but if you're in some way or some form in contact with anybody where you're bettering their lives, you're teaching them something. You don't have to just have the teacher profession to be a teacher. And that's why we do what we do. That's the impact of a great teacher. And that's what I tell people, like somebody asked me today, well, what is it that you look for when you're interviewing teachers? What is it that you want to find in a new teacher? I want somebody that's gonna love my kids. That's it. Because I know if you're gonna love my kids at the school, you're gonna do everything you possibly can to better their life. And as a teacher, a future teacher, that's the one thing I want you guys to remember. If you love your kids, I promise you, you're gonna make a great impact. So, back to class. You never know what caliber of student you're gonna have in your classroom. You don't know. You don't see a doctor label, scientist label, boom label. Like, it's not there. Now I wish it was. You say, well, you know what? I'm just gonna take you out of my class because you're not gonna fit my scores, right? But it doesn't work like that. It's deep down inside, and that's our job to really figure it out. All right. Each student needs the very best you. And I want to talk briefly about. I call this is one of my daughters. I can remember I've claimed her since she was in elementary school. I told her mom, I said, look, you had her, but she's mine. And I won't ever forget, she went through one of the toughest times in her life, but this is the most rewarding experience for me as a teacher. When she got to be in like 8th grade, her mama came to me because she was running the track, she was on my team, she was in my class, I was teaching her, and her mama pulled me to the side, and after practice, she said, Coach, I want to talk to you about something. I said, okay. She said, me and her daddy, we going through a divorce. She said, and I'm going to tell her tonight. She said, and I want you to know, you're the only one that she's gonna really want to talk to whenever I tell her. I told her, no problem. I said, well, whenever you tell it to her, I said, you got my phone number, give me a call, it doesn't matter what time, just call me. And my wife knows, we deal with our ministry, that if there's a call that comes through at night, it's something that's major. About 11:50 that night, my phone rung. And my wife hit me and said, your phone's ringing, and it was her. And when I picked the phone up, I was here just crying and screaming and said, Daddy's gone, Daddy's gone, Daddy's gone. And my heart melted. And so the next day was her birthday. he left the day before her birthday, and she was in a meltdown state. And so I talked to my wife, and she said, well, why don't we take her out tomorrow to a restaurant, celebrate her birthday, and just talk to her. So I told her, hey, you want to get together tomorrow? We'll come by, pick you up. We'll take you to Applebee's. She said, yes, sir. So we went and got her, and you can tell, she was still just distraught. But we went through, we ate, we talked with her and everything, and kept her close to us. She graduated last year from high school. She's at Troy right now, doing interscholastic sports. Got some big scholarship that she's getting awarded next Sunday, and she still calls me and say, hey, Father, how are you doing? I'm doing good. How are you doing? Are you doing what you're supposed to be doing today? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm staying away from the boys. I'm studying. Well, there we go. That's right. But those are those types of relationships that as teachers, that's just irreplaceable. It's invaluable. And I can't wait for you guys to start building those relationships. You guys start experiencing that, because the money, yeah, we got a little bit of money in there, but the main reason and what you get the most out of education is those relationships that you build and those lives that you change. So I'm just full of on education. I'm full of on education. So I'm gonna leave you guys with my quote of the day. A perfectly functioning car does not need the mechanic as badly as the car was needing to fix. Keep that in mind as you go through your career. And we all know which class would we rather teach. And we know that if we had to make the biggest impact, which class would that be? Class A. And thank you guys for allowing me to.
The pens are here, and then after they get a pen, yeah. Along with the pens, we also have a book that Mr. Clark has authored. So him being the author of this book, we'd like to give each graduate one of his books as well that he has signed on the inside. So first up is Miss Hannah Barbie.
I know they gave the few sentence limit to me. I talk a lot. I am very blessed. I had a lot of people I could choose from, but I feel it is important in this moment to choose my first teacher. This lady has taught me perseverance. She's taught me diligence. She's taught me faith. A whole bunch of humility, multiple times. But she's always been that shoulder for me to cry on. She's done a lot of crafts. I think everybody will agree with that for me. My graduation hat included. But the biggest thing in this program my mama has taught me is to look at things in your life. Even just in this program, I got so tunnel vision on this program. Look at the bad things that happened in the program. I might not have gotten the grade I wanted. But find optimism in it. Find optimism in your schooling, in your career, in life. Don't focus on the negative. And so, Mama, I am extremely blessed. Don't do that.
Don't look at me.
To have you, it is beyond an honor for you to attend tonight. You got to pin me. I don't know. Just stick it.
I want you to drop
You're
something.
doing it upside down, too.
Am I?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
There you go.
And I don't have my reading glasses on. Sorry, guys.
We all have this trouble.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you, Betty.
Miss Chandler Braxton.
I'm not as big of a public speaker as Miss Hannah Banana. But I chose my mom, Kathy Campbell Jones, to pin me today. been just me and her since the beginning, from making index cards in elementary school and letting them send me to ISS in elementary school, not bringing my planner back signed. when the principal said I could just have a little slap on the wrist, but she let me go anyway. We went through nursing school together, and now I've decided to be a teacher, and she's in there for that too. So there's no one else I would have been able to choose but her.
Congratulations.
Miss Allison Brown.
I didn't know y'all were going to make us cry up here today. I picked Miss Myers because she truly is, she's the embodiment of what I want to be as a teacher. She's been there for everything with me. She's been there to thick and thin, and she's been such a good teacher.
I'm so proud of you.
But I'm crying.
The yellow napkin can have a dual purpose if we need it. Miss Caitlin Carroll.
I definitely didn't know they were going to ask to say something. This is my niece Brooklyn, and she is my biggest influence. And really, she's my best friend. We do as much as possible together, and I just thought it was appropriate. She told my brother, her dad, the other day, said, well, Caitlin's getting finished with her college, and she's got a couple more days, and she looked at him so serious and said, well, that's good. She helps me be a better person every day. Oh, that's nice.
Mr. George Fisher.
Don't you make me cry.
For those of you who don't know my story, these two ladies do, but it's been a pretty long road for me. I know I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for this lady, because she has done a lot for me, and I will forever be in her debt, because she's just the world to me personally.
Now we're going to have to sit here. Sorry.
Miss Katie King.
I have some treatment for this. I didn't take it.
So, while my husband and my family have been an amazing support system this whole time, this lady really stood out to me when picking someone to pin me. She's been my boss for 50 million years what feels like, and she has played hands down the biggest role in my education more than anyone else. Her and her family have absolutely been willing to do whatever it took to get me through. And truth is, I wouldn't have probably been started or pushed through to the end of my goals without her, and I'm super thankful. So there's no one else I'd rather pin me than you.
Good job.
Miss Savannah Messer.
I'm having my mom pin me because I think through everything she has instilled and been an example of the most important thing that has gotten me this far through the past few years, and that is patience. She's been a great example of patience, and I wouldn't have made it here without the example she has been.
Miss Molly Niemi.
I chose my mom to pin me because she never questioned my late nights of procrastinating. She's really pushed me through this whole thing. She actually wanted to be a teacher when she was in school, and she never got the opportunity to do that. So I'm living her dream as well as mine.
You still taking? I get to work in the school system, just not as a teacher. Never too late. We'll take it. She's gonna live my dream.
Miss Elaine Pfister.
So I chose my dad to pin me because as long as I can remember, I've been a daddy's girl. And you've been one of my biggest supporters in all of this. And especially when I just needed to take a break, you were the one that pushed me and said, well, let's go to Sonic, let's go to Walmart, let's take him right off of it. And then you pushed me to get back into it. Don't stab me, please. Because I know you threatened that earlier.
Miss Erin Wright.
Hi, Nana.
Okay, so I have to be extra and call up the whole fam, but so actually my Nana was supposed to pin me tonight, but she's going through some things health related, so she's actually in the hospital, but we're gonna include her. But I have my mom and dad to help pin me because they've been with me throughout this, and I'm their child, so I have their Mom and dad, go up and do the honors. You gonna carry me?
No.